you to leave, you have to go. Then you just show up for court, okay? If you refuse to leave,
right? If I refuse to leave, I can get arrested.
You can get arrested.
Correct.
The deal is that they run this.
Turn it off and leave right now, or you're going to jail. I'm on a public sidewalk, Marcus says, holding the camera steady as the officer steps closer, hand already hovering near his cuffs. It's broad daylight outside a government building, and Marcus, a U.S. citizen, isn't shouting, blocking, or touching anyone. He's just filming, and somehow, that's enough for them to threaten arrest. "You don't get to stand here recording," the officer snaps, voice rising, drawing attention from people passing by. Marcus doesn't move, because he knows something they're hoping he doesn't. Then a second officer walks in, faster, more aggressive, and says something that changes the entire situation. If he doesn't leave in 5 seconds, take him. Marcus tightens his grip on the camera and doesn't take a single step back. The countdown doesn't even start out loud, but you can feel it in the way the officers shift their weight, in the way Officer Daniels' hand inches closer to Marcus's wrist. Sergeant Keller positions himself slightly to the side, cutting off the path behind Marcus like this is already decided. A man across the street slows down, watching. A woman near the entrance pulls out her phone. Marcus keeps his voice level. "Am I being detained, or am I free to go?" Neither officer answers directly. Instead, Daniels leans in, lowering his voice just enough to sound controlled, but not calm. "You're about to be detained if you don't comply." Comply with what? That's the part no one is saying. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Marcus slowly turns the camera, capturing the empty sidewalk around him, the clearly marked public access sign behind him, then back to the officers now standing uncomfortably close. "I'm not interfering," he says. "I'm documenting in public." Keller's jaw tightens. "You've been warned." That word, warned, hangs there like something official, something final. But Marcus knows warnings don't replace laws, and the way they're avoiding a straight answer tells him something else is going on. Daniels reaches again, closer this time. Last chance. Marcus exhales slowly, steadying the camera as the space between them disappears. And right before anything else can happen, Marcus says one sentence that forces everything to a breaking point. "Go ahead. Arrest me." Most people would have backed off the second the word arrest was thrown around. Marcus doesn't. And the camera stays locked on Officer Daniels' face, close enough now to catch every flicker of hesitation, every shift in his expression. But instead of confidence, there's something else creeping in. Pressure. "You're refusing a lawful order," Daniels says, louder this time, like he needs the words to carry. Marcus doesn't raise his voice. "What lawful order?" That question lands harder than anything else so far. For a split second, Daniels doesn't answer. Sergeant Keller steps in immediately, filling the silence before it can expose anything. "You're loitering and causing concern. That's your warning." Marcus slowly pans the camera again, left, right behind him. Empty sidewalk, no obstruction, no one being bothered. "Who am I disturbing?" he asks. Another pause. Keller's eyes shift briefly toward Daniels. Daniels looks away. It's subtle, but it's there. They don't have an answer. A woman walking past slows down just enough to say, "He's not doing anything," before continuing on. It's quiet, almost under her breath, but it changes the energy instantly. Now it's not just Marcus saying it, now someone else sees it too. Daniels exhales sharply, stepping closer again, trying to reclaim control. "You're escalating this situation." Marcus doesn't move an inch. "I'm standing still." That contrast, what's being said versus what's actually happening, starts to become impossible to ignore. Keller's tone shifts, harder now, less patient. "We've had complaints. You need to leave." Marcus tilts his head slightly. From who? No response. Not even a deflection this time. Just silence. And in that silence, something clicks for Marcus. This isn't about complaints. And this isn't about safety. This is about them not wanting him here. Daniels lowers his voice again, stepping just close enough to feel threatening without touching. You're making this worse for yourself. Marcus meets his gaze. Calm. Unshaken. I'm exercising my rights. That word, rights, hits differently, because now it's no longer just a situation. It's a line being drawn. Keller's patience snaps. Last warning, he says, louder, sharper, making sure anyone watching can hear it. And now, people are watching. 2 more bystanders have stopped. One of them raises a phone. The pressure isn't just on Marcus anymore. It's on the officers. Marcus adjusts his stance slightly, still non-threatening, still composed, but now fully aware of what's coming next. And because the way they're talking, the way they're closing in, they've already decided how this ends. Marcus takes a slow breath, then says something that shifts the entire moment. If you think I broke the law, then arrest me. Daniel's hand moves toward his radio, and this time, he actually presses it. The moment backup gets called, everything changes. Daniels lowers the radio from his mouth, eyes locked on Marcus like he's committed now, like there's no stepping back from this. The quiet tension turns into something heavier, something public. Within seconds, another patrol car pulls up. Then another. Doors slam. Footsteps approach. Now there are 4 officers surrounding one man, standing on a sidewalk. Marcus slowly turns, capturing each new arrival. For the record, he says clearly, I am not interfering with anything. One of the new officers looks around, confused. There's no crime scene, no tape, no urgency, except what's being created. Keller steps forward again, voice louder now, performative. You are interfering with an active investigation. Marcus immediately responds, sharper this time. What investigation? Silence. The question hangs there, unanswered, undeniable. Daniels cuts in quickly, trying to regain control. You're being given a lawful order to leave. Marcus shakes his head slightly. A public sidewalk is not a restricted area. Now the crowd is growing. 2, then 5, then more. Phones are out, eyes are locked in, and the officers feel it. That shift, from authority to scrutiny. Daniels takes a step closer, lowering his voice again, but this time there's urgency behind it. If you don't leave right now, you will be placed in handcuffs. That's it. The line has officially been crossed. Marcus raises his voice just enough for everyone to hear. I am being threatened with arrest for standing in a public place. A murmur spreads through the small crowd. Someone says, that's not right. Another voice. He's allowed to film. Now it's no longer just an interaction. It's a scene. Daniel's jaw tightens. He reaches out, not grabbing, but close enough to make the message clear, a warning without words. Marcus doesn't step back, not even slightly, and then something unexpected. One of the newer officers leans toward Daniels, speaking low but not low enough. Hey, he's allowed to do that. Daniels freezes for half a second, just a crack. Doubt. But before it can grow, Keller steps in immediately, cutting it off. Doesn't matter. He was told to leave. That's the moment everything shifts again. Because now it's not just about Marcus. It's about whether they follow the law or each other. Daniels looks between Keller and Marcus, then back again. And with the entire situation balancing on that decision, Keller gives a direct order. Put him in cuffs. Daniels reaches forward. The second Daniels' hand closes around Marcus's wrist. The entire atmosphere snaps. It's no longer a warning. It's happening. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Phones rise higher. Someone steps closer just to get a better angle. Marcus doesn't pull away. He doesn't resist. "I'm not resisting," he says clearly, every word measured. "I do not consent to this." The statement cuts through the noise, sharp, deliberate, undeniable. Daniel's grip tightens slightly, but not with confidence. There's hesitation there now, buried under the pressure to follow through. Keller steps in beside him, voice loud enough for everyone watching. "You were given multiple lawful orders." Marcus turns his head slightly, still filming, still controlled. "There was no lawful order." That contradiction hangs in the air, and people hear it. "You can't arrest him for that," someone shouts from the crowd. Another voice follows louder. "He's on a public sidewalk." Now the pressure isn't just internal, it's everywhere. One of the newer officers steps forward again, this time more direct, more urgent. "Sergeant, this is public access. He's not breaking any law." Keller turns sharply, eyes locking onto him. "Step back. That's an order." The tension shifts instantly. And this isn't just enforcement anymore. It's conflict inside the ranks. Daniels loosens his grip, just slightly, enough to show uncertainty, enough to expose it. Marcus captures everything, the hesitation, the disagreement, the moment control starts slipping. And that's when the crowd closes in just a little more. Not aggressively, but enough. Enough to make it clear this isn't hidden anymore. Daniels glances at Keller, waiting. Keller doesn't respond right away. For the first time since this started, he hesitates. And in that hesitation, the entire situation teeters on the edge, because now there are only two options left: follow through with an arrest everyone can see is wrong, or stop, and admit it without saying a word. Daniels lets go. It's subtle, almost like it never happened, but everyone sees it. The grip loosens, and then disappears completely. Marcus's wrist drops back to his side, the camera still rolling, still capturing every second. No one says, "You're free to go." No one says, "We were wrong." Keller steps forward, trying to reclaim control of a situation that's already slipped away. "Move along," he says, waving a hand like he can reset everything with a gesture. But no one moves, because everyone knows what just almost happened. Marcus keeps his voice steady. "Am I being detained?" Silence. Daniels looks away. Keller doesn't answer. That's the answer. Marcus nods slightly, more to himself than anyone else. "All right." Days later, the footage spreads. Not just Marcus's video, but the bystanders, the multiple angles, the clear audio. There's no confusion, no missing context. Just a man standing on public property, and officers trying to remove him anyway. Then the final piece surfaces, body cam footage, internal audio, and it changes everything. Before the confrontation even started, Daniels is heard saying clearly, "He's allowed to film. I just don't want him here." That's it. Not a misunderstanding, not a safety concern, a choice, a deliberate decision to ignore the law and enforce authority anyway. The department can't ignore it. An internal investigation is launched. The outcome is direct. Daniels receives disciplinary action for violating department policy. Keller is formally reprimanded for ordering enforcement without legal grounds. New guidance is issued. Officers are reminded in writing that filming in public is protected. But the real consequence isn't just internal. And the video reaches thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Public trust takes a hit. People recognize what almost happened, and how close it came to going further. Marcus returns to the same sidewalk days later. Same spot, same camera. No officers approach him this time. No warnings, no threats. He looks into the lens and says one final line. "This is what exercising your rights looks like, when you don't give them up." And this time, no one tells him to leave.